thousands of years, humans have relied on dogs to help them hunt all manner of game. There are written accounts of pointing-type dogs from as early as the 13th century. In the 17th century, the popular European pointing breeds of the time were combined to make a new breed, the German Shorthair Pointer. GSPs are amazing dogs, basically a shivering tornado of extreme athleticism, absurd drive for birds, and all-around excitement. Today, we are driving to Wellsville, Pennsylvania to meet my friend Cam Bell with his upland game dog Sky at the Central Penn Game Preserve. There aren't many upland game birds to be found in this region of the United States, so this preserve stocks its fields with farm-raised pheasant, partridge, chukar, and quail to give hunters and dogs a chance to practice. They also have a sporting clays course that operates alongside the hunting fields, so it's a popular destination for local hunters and hobbyists alike. Your dad and your uncle both were into bird hunting?
Yeah.
So then how'd they indoctrinate you?
Well, from where my father lived down in Hampstead, Maryland, about 3 miles down the road was a game preserve. It's called Gunpowder Game Preserve. Ever since I could walk, that's what we did since it was so close. Dad had short hairs, my uncle had Brittany's and Springer Spaniels, and I couldn't even shoot, but I'd go and walk along and watch the madness. And a lot of the times it was just my uncle's dogs, because Dad didn't get short hairs till maybe I was 10. My first short hair was, his name was Storm. When we're in the field, I've always liked the control of having a pointer. He goes on point, he stops, you can get set, you can get your shooter set. It's very controlled. You're not, with a flusher, you always have to be ready, because he doesn't stop. He just runs through that brush, and then the bird gets up, and then you start shooting, which is fine if that's what you like to do. If you're always, you like to be on your toes. People say it could be a little unsafer than, if your dog's on point, and stays through the flush and the shot, you're just, everyone's safe. No
big
one's
difference.
shooting. Yeah, big difference
from, and in genetics, the big difference would be like dogs that are real rangy and get far out on you. And so I wonder if, in general, GSPs will get further out on you and labs will stay closer. And if they're flushing labs, they kind of stay in within 20, 30 yards. Because
exactly.
You can't be flushing your bird out all the way out there. You're not going to be able to shoot it.
Exactly. When we get out to the field, I'll walk her out there with a long line or a leash or something like that. Get her calmed down. And then usually in the field, you have a road, an access road, and on the other side of the field is just like a strip that people walk. So I'll walk in the middle, handle the dog, try to keep her as close as possible, kind of work her back. She's going to be kind of working with the scent and the wind. If the wind's in our face or the wind's at our back, she's going to be trying to find that wind, and then that's when she's going to work her way and find the scent of the bird. Once she is on point, we kind of get in a triangle per se. Dog's on point here, shooter here, I'm behind, I'm going to flush the bird. Hopefully flush it out in front of us, and then both shooters have time and a chance to shoot the bird. If not, anything can happen. But safety is such a number one key when you're out here in the field. And if there's no open shot, don't shoot it. Once it's shot, she sees it fall, I'll release her to go fetch it. She'll fetch it up.
So what are we doing first?
We're gonna start on this right side, and we're just gonna work our way down. I'm gonna let her loose when we all get into the field, and see how she does this morning. Walk real slow, nice and easy. Just watch the dog kind of do its thing. Might be a little iffy this morning because it's still pretty dewy and pretty frosty, and scenting conditions might not be ideal. So when she goes on point I'll try to find like a tail or something where I can see the bird, because then it gives me a better opportunity, because I kind of get my foot under it and give it a little nudge, like almost like kicking a soccer ball or something. If not, you kind of just go in and you're kind of moving your feet around, kicking the grass or the brush away, because usually birds are buried underneath kind of that tall fescue. When the dog's on point, what I like to see is all 4 feet are on the ground, heads kind of high up in the air, and a 12 o'clock tail, so it almost looks like this. But a lot of dogs, they get into these funky different situations where their ass is up and their tail's still high, but their head's real low. They're kind of like looking at it in the grass.
Looks good though.
It does look good.
But that's not desirable.
Not for me.
You want them drawn out in a straight line. Mm-hmm. Nose is right here, back of the head, shoulders, hips, tail. Yep. You want it straight.
Well, straight, and then tail's 12 o'clock.
Most of these pointers have retrieves?
Yeah, they have a natural retrieve. She doesn't, so you have to break her down, force fetch her. But if you don't consistently keep up the reps, just like with any sort of training and any sort of behavior and command, it dwindles.
What I'm wondering is, genetically, how often are GSPs like really cranked to retrieve?
Not often. You have to breed it.
Because you're breeding for pointing.
Yeah.
But so how about the male that you bred her to?
He has a natural retrieve, and I don't even know what you call it, but he's a natural swimmer. She don't like to swim. So I try to pick things apart that she didn't have good qualities. She will retrieve. She's a field champion. She has to retrieve to earn those points to even get the field champion title. So she can do it.
There's a lot of different pieces of the dog training that I'm interested in, but I wonder what would be different with a different dog, different situation, different environment, different type of footing and so forth. The way that she ranges out, like I wonder how far she's supposed to go versus how far she's going out. You hear him giving those commands, come around, come around. I wonder if that's kind of just a normal, like, hey, that's how they interact with each other, that's how they talk, and he's always doing that. Or is it like, is he really trying to shape her behavior because he's not happy with what she's doing?
GSPs have this name on them that, oh, they're crazy. It's like, well, you do the right things, you take the right steps, build the behaviors, the manners, the obedience, and they're going to be a joy for the next 15 years.
But you said before that your dog, like the one that we're working today, that she's like a 1,000-yard dog. That she'll get out.
Yeah, she will take an edge, and that's around this part of the country on the East Coast. It's a lot of edge work. It's a lot of fields like this, and there's nothing. It's just one big open field, and mainly the birds are going to be on the edge of the field. So that's where she's learned from when she was little. She grew up and applying that application to a field, which is running edges. Well, it's easier to teach a dog to go out and then bring it back in when you're hunting stuff like this.
Okay, so build the confidence.
Build the confidence, build the application to let it be independent.
Okay.
And then it's easier to reel the dog back in.
All right.
It's not going to be like the next day, like, oh, the dog's working 20 yards in front of me. It takes time.
Right.
But it's easier once the dog already is confident enough, independent enough to go out on them longer ranges and find birds.
Easier to keep them close.
Easier to keep them close.
But if you have a super close dog, hard to push him out.
Yes.
Your super close dog that runs 30 yards, he's not going to go out 1,000 yards. It's not going to happen. So you have to make moves. You're going to have more footwork to find the bird. Requires a different sort of training and handling though too. So when you're in the field with a flushing dog, I guess you got to know this is a likely area for a bird to be. I'm going to go over there so my dog stays over there with It's not like you're chasing the dog around the field. The dog is following you and staying close to you.
Exactly.
So you go over there and you're like, oh, this looks like a likely spot.
Right.
And dog starts searching over there.
Right.
You go to the edge or whatever. Whereas your dog's a lot more independent.
Yep.
Even showed itself when your dog's like, I'm not listening to you. We're out in the field, right?
Exactly.
Blew you off a little bit.
Exactly.
I get it because the dog is so cranked up.
Exactly.
Be like my dog not listening to me when he's on a bite or something like that. He's like, no, I'm not letting go. This is my favorite thing in the world. I'm holding on to this guy. I'm not coming back.
Right.
So you let her go and she does her own thing.
Right.
And she's like, no, I'm doing this. You don't call me back. Like, I'm looking for birds here.
I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
You know, this is my reward. And it's not like I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for you.
Yeah.
Because I find the bird, you shoot the bird. That's your reward.
Oh, it's fun.
It's very fun.
Got some more birds?
Got some more birds out and just put them out.
What's the split on them?
4 pheasant, 3 chukars again. Kind of the same setup we had, just different spots. But
all right.
Good, knock them dead.
Girl, look at you. Hey, look at you.
Sometimes, you know, with the young puppy, it's called flagging. So when they go on point, they get real excited and their tail flickers a little bit. It's not very, you know, it's nothing fancy. It's not what you want, but there's ways to work that out. So she might flicker a little bit because she's excited, but once she settles down a little bit, she'll hit hard and she'll lock up.
I don't particularly like the part where you kill the bird. I get that's the point. And it's like worth it to see the dogs and everything, but it's not my favorite part. Can't imagine what they'd get into if they had long hair on them. Since I've never hunted over a bird dog, this was an entirely new experience. I loved watching the dog work and solve problems that she was faced with. I loved seeing her drive in action. My goal in this endeavor is to find people that know more than me about a particular niche area of dog training. Cam is truly an expert in a realm that is brand new to me, and watching him work was an incredible experience. He really lives and breathes this stuff. His love for the dogs is evident from how he cares for his animals to the quality of training he does and his expectations at the end of the day. He thinks about birds and dogs all the time. He breeds German Shorthairs, competes with them all over the East Coast, and has a true desire to learn more. After spending some time shooting over dogs with him, I can see why. It's an amazing rush to watch a dog point, get set up over the bird, and wait for the flush to happen. I don't think I'm ready to train a pointer yet, but I know a heck of a lot more than I did before we got here. Yeah, man, that was fun. Thanks for showing me some stuff. Glad I got to see this dog working after I'd known her for a little while. It was cool, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out.